Televised debate has just finished between the Premier Dominic Perrottet and the Labor leader Chris Minns ahead of the New South Wales election in just 17 days. Let's bring in Kenny Heatley, who's been watching. Kenny, how did they go? Was there a clear winner? What were the key moments?
Oh, look, it was very well rehearsed, the answers. They had a number of questions and different topics they went through. A lot of talking down the barrel directly to voters, very scripted answers. There wasn't too much in the way of fighting or anything like that. So in terms of a fiery debate, I would say it was a more scripted debate, but it got off to a shaky start. There was a fire alarm during the opening statements. Take a look.
We're here today at a challenging time for families and for households in New South Wales and right around the country. Inflation is rising.
Yeah, the Premier doing well to talk through all that, but once they got that sorted out, got into the main topics. Education was first, obviously, then slipping into tolls and infrastructure and privatisation. Labor, Chris Minns accusing the Premier of a $50 billion budget black hole with all the infrastructure that he's promising to build over the next 4 years, but also pointing out that the Premier has all of a sudden decided not to privatise anything else, and he's saying that the Premier can't be trusted in not privatising anything. And then the Premier hits back and says this is why New South Wales is going to stall under Labor, because they're just going to stop projects and stop building. But also Chris Minns hit out on a number of senior ministers who are stepping down or retiring ahead of the election coming up in 17 days.
We don't know who will fill those positions if the government is re-elected on March the 25th. We don't know their competencies, we don't know their experience, we don't know what they'll believe in.
You don't have a whole lot of experience, though. One of your shadow ministers has actually been a minister.
That's true, but we don't have experience racking up the biggest debt the state has ever seen. With many people on the government's team, not the Premier, who I've got a lot of regard for, can't stand to be in the same room with each other.
We've got an incredibly strong and energetic team with the experience to deal with the economic challenges we face.
Speaking of debt, the wages cap, it's been a big issue through the New South Wales election. Labor is promising to remove the public service wages cap and go to the negotiating table shortly after the election if they are elected and negotiate higher pay. Chris Minns pointing out that we are the only state that has a wages cap in place, and that's why public servants and essential workers are leaving to go to other states. Well, the Premier disputes this.
One of the things that I've seen from the New South Wales Premier and the government over the last, 2 months is a real focus on effectively blaming essential workers for the work they do in this state, as if they're economic bandits, as if they're off on the sidelines of this political debate, plotting to undermine and bankrupt the state of New South Wales.
That's completely incorrect, Amelia. Chris says that there won't be an increase in cost because he will find that addition from savings. That's the government's position today. We have a cap in place of 3%. If there are savings found, increases can be made above the cap. So then why remove the cap? By removing the cap, we'll have what happened when Labor were last in government. They give into the public sector unions, expenses spiral.
There was also an interesting quick yes-no round. Take a look.
Would you decriminalise marijuana?
No.
Mr Minns?
No.
Mr Minns, would you change the date of Australia Day?
No, we don't have any plans to do that.
Mr Perrottet?
No.
Would you allow nuclear energy?
No.
No, but we should always look at new ways of moving to a renewable energy future, and I think we should look at all options on the table.
No nuclear energy in New South Wales, and also, Ash, really no major slip-ups by either leader there. As we count down to the New South Wales election, of course, there's still a little bit to go. Slip-ups could happen, but very well rehearsed and very well prepared by both leaders in that televised debate.
Yeah, avoiding bloopers is a very key part of the game at this stage of the campaign. As you know, Kenny, thank you for the update. And make sure you do save the date for the final must-watch showdown of the New South Wales election campaign. Dom Perrottet and Chris Minns will be facing off in front of undecided voters on March 22nd. That's happening at the Sky News Daily Telegraph People's Forum.